Welcome back to another video on the Apex and Chill Racing League YouTube channel. Today, something slightly different. The start of a brand new series on a brand new sim game, LMU. It is very quickly becoming one of the most popular sim games out there on the market currently. And you know, we've been playing around with it now for the last 4 or 5 days, and we are quickly realizing why it is so good and regarded as one of the leading ones out there, to the point where, you know, people that have raced in iRacing for many years are making the switch over to LMU. Now, this series, we're going to be starting the journey on creating our Apex and Chill Racing League team. So we are starting the journey to do 2 types of events. The first one will be alongside our GT7 Racing League. We will also be running a racing league on LMU. Aside from that, one of the perks that LMU has is LMU loves to run long distance endurance events in which you can have teams. And you know, if you were doing a 12-hour race, for example, you would be able to swap drivers in the team live time, and then while the other person is obviously driving the car, you then become their spotter and you race it out as a team to be #1 in the endurance special events. They host these special events fairly often. Different formats, different tracks, different cars. And one thing that, you know, we'll talk about during this video is the distinctive handling differences between this game that I found myself and other sim games out there. In today's video, we are working our way up from the bronze daily events. So for those that aren't aware, everyone starts off with bronze rating, bronze safety rating, and you basically get put in a restricted category. So there's only 2 daily races available each week, and you basically have to battle it out against all of the newcomers and all of the people with bad safety ratings in order to get into the silver badges and then unlock all of the other events. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be starting from the bottom, and hopefully over the coming weeks and over the coming videos we'll be working our way up into that silver category, so then we can unlock a whole host more online events, tracks and cars. So this particular race was it was the Portuguese track around Portimao in the GTE cars. Now, an important thing to point out with the GTE cars is there is no ABS. So if, like me, you do not have a load balance, a load cell pedal, it can be pretty tricky. And I played around with it for quite some time and found that if I reduced the brake bias considerably on the car, then I wouldn't suffer with the locking as much. But what I'm going to do is I am going to put together another video on a different day for people on those low-end budget wheels and how you can really maximise the game's true potential. So here we are, we're in the starting procedure of the race. Another good thing on the LMU is the starting procedure. So as you can see, it's a rolling start, and it gives you visual aids of how far you need to be back from the other guys, and they are very strict on your positioning. And then as you're approaching the starting line, you're hitting the pit limiter so that you're restricted to 37 miles an hour, and then as soon as the lights go green, you take the pit limiter off and it's basically go. Now, one of the things that I found in these lower races is the first lap. It's almost easier sometimes to back right off, because one of the caveats is to the damage system that's currently on this game is even if somebody hits you, the game will still punish your safety rating. And it hurts it quite bad. So then before you know it, you end up in the lowest of the lowest races. So as you can see on lap 1, we went slightly wide on the first couple of corners, and although, you know, we didn't gain any places, it didn't actually do us that much harm, purely because we managed to stay out of the chaos. And as we are approaching now the midsection of lap 1, you can see it's all about getting the tyres warmed up as quickly as possible, so then we can start pushing on the coming laps. Starting with cold tyres on this game, again, is very, very difficult. The understeer, the lack of grip is definitely, you can definitely feel it right from the get-go. So it's just all about taking your time on lap 1, building up the temperatures in your brakes, building up the temperatures in the tyres, and then being able to push then the further you go on. So we're just coming round to complete the end of lap 1. We've got off to a great start, we've maintained our position, and we're just settling into our rhythm now. Starting lap 2, more and more temperature going into the tyres now. You can see that we're gaining on the car in front, but we kind of back off the throttle there, just to maintain the position, because we don't want to go for any openings just yet. We'd rather apply the pressure to the car in front, try and make them make a mistake, just while we're still trying to get that temperature up in our tyres. Coming down to a really, really difficult braking point now with no ABS. You go over the crest of the hill and you've got to be on the brakes pretty much instantly, but because of the dynamics in the game, you can kind of feel the car's weight shifting. So it's very, very easy to lock up it on there. Quick shift down into third round this corner, and then again an unusual braking zone going into the uphill right-hander. Very, very easy again to lock your tyres there. And then this braking zone that we've got coming up now, just over the top of the hill, it's almost a blind braking zone. If you brake after the crest, the chances are you will lock up and you'll run actually quite wide. You've got to brake just as you're coming over the crest of the hill, and just gently coast it round into second gear. And then you can see here, slight lock up of the brakes, and then I have a little spin. And then what we're trying to do now is we're trying to gently rejoin onto the racetrack without causing any collisions, because again, we're trying to look after his safety rating. We're trying to be as careful as possible. We found a little opening there on the inside. We're committed to it. Second gear, slight lift off around this last corner from 4th into 5th, and I've actually found that you can make up a lot of ground on the cars in front on that particular corner. They all seem to either brake or lift off a lot more, but all it takes is just a slight lift. Going into this first corner here in this braking zone is a corner where I always struggled, and you can see how close the players get behind me. I always tended to brake too early, but then if I did brake any later, I'd find that I'd either lock my brakes up or I'd overshoot the braking zone. You can get away with taking this corner as well, almost full speed if your tyres are nice and warm and you keep a tight line going round there. So now it's all about trying to gain as much time as we can up to the guy in front of us, Akchar, and you'll see as the race progresses that me and Akchar actually have some of the closest racing that I have had on LMU so far, and I'll be honest, it's what makes me keep on going back to the game. I've played other recently released sim games, PMR being one of them, and the driver quality on the online ranked modes is something that I have really struggled with, in terms of, you know, they just don't have the race and respect. But because of LMU's system, if you do abuse it and you have too many incidents, what will happen is they will put a temporary ban on your account and you will not be able to join any of the online races. So it's definitely well worth trying to stay as clean as possible. Now we are running this LMU on our new PC. I am going to put the game in spec PC, the spec to the game in PC in the description of our YouTube channel. During the race, we're running pretty much everything on ultra settings, and we're actually getting around about 200 frames per second per race. And one of the main standout for things that I can see from this game is the graphics. The graphics and the feeling that you get from the car are something that I don't think I've ever experienced in any other sim game so far. It's really nice to play. The replays are limited to 60 FPS, which you'll see now with the FPS measure that we've got in the top right hand corner of the screen. But even still then, you know, the quality and the detail that you see in the car, around the car, and the feeling and the sounds that you get from the track are something that to me is unrivaled out there currently. So this particular race was a 20-minute long race, so there wasn't a set lap count for us to go by. It was just a straight 20-minute race, and as you can see, we're about 9 minutes in currently. We've closed the gap to the guy in front to within a second. As I said, we got a really nice run out of that lost corner onto the home straight, into the next lap, and he's just gone slightly on the grass there, which will not have helped his grip around this corner, and it allows us to pull in the gap now to that half a second. And as I say, we're always constantly thinking in the back of our mind, you know, not to get too close to him unless we really, you know, we're really going to go and make the move, just to protect our safety rating. But this section of racing now really was testament to the guy in front, and actually to myself and to a guy that catches up with us in the coming laps. You know, we both had very clean racing. You can see he's just gone slightly wide there, so he will have been given a yellow flag, so he's got to back off slightly to stop himself from getting the penalty and affecting his rating essentially. And again, we've gone through the last corner there. It was 0.6 seconds, and now we're just under half a second. And again, we're catching on him now, all the way down this straight. Now, if I had the confidence in the car and the brakes, you know, I may have been tempted to go for the inside line into this corner, but he defends it really nicely. Unfortunately, hits the curb, but manages to bring it on, still in front of us. And then we're right close up to the back of him now, moving into this tight left-hander. You can feel the rear of the car just stepping out slightly there. And while this battle is happening, we have another car that is closely catching us up behind us. Going down the home straight now, starting the next lap. We managed to get him on the straight, but we are on the outside line. So we braked a lot earlier and still ran wide. And he regains that same position. It was definitely a missed opportunity there, but again, at this point I was still playing around with the brake pressure on the pedals, just trying to find confidence in the braking zones. It's one thing that in particular in the GTEs with no ABS, I was really struggling with, really trying to toy with it as much as I can. Again, we have a little look on the inside there, but we couldn't quite make it work, and now it's gone from a 2-car battle to a 3-car battle. Constantly just battling away, trying to make sure that we're not making mistakes, and if anybody in front of us does make a mistake, then we capitalise on that position. Nice inside line there. Going into the final corner, we stick to that inside line. Full speed ahead, and then the guy that was behind me, he's also overtook him. So he's dropped 2 places in the space of 2 corners. We are starting to feel a little bit more confident at this point in the race, moving into the second half of the race. We're feeling a little bit more racy. And then we were just not confident enough in the brakes into turn 1. And we run slightly wide, and then all of the work that's just been done kind of got undone. And then again, the guy that I was racing with, lap after lap after lap, he also went for the move, run wide. What this is a perfect example of is how hard these cars are under braking. You have to be so accurate. Now we've got a bit of a helicopter shot, following the cars round. And as you can see in the background, we have yet another car coming to join the party now. The last quarter of the race definitely will be an interesting part. As you can see, the battle between me and Achar is still going on. He went for a brilliant dive into the first corner. He got his braking point absolutely spot on, and there wasn't much I can do about it. And you can tell the more this race goes on, the closer we are driving together, the more confidence that we're clearly getting as we are moving into the final quarter of the race now, just over the halfway point. I think the respect that we have for each other in this race is it's brilliant, you know. And let's not forget, this is the lowest ranked lobbies. So to get battles and fights like this with you know, supposedly the lowest ranked lobbies is absolutely brilliant. It's not always like this. I have found myself, you know, being taken out, being hit, span on more than one occasion. But out of all of the races that I've tried so far, this has definitely been the most enjoyable race by a long shot. You can see we're getting right close up to his rear bumper, going down the home straight. We've got the inside line going into turn 1. All we have to do now is just make sure that we're getting on the brakes at just the right time to slow the car down into third gear. He's going to be committed on the outside, and I think we made a little bit of contact there, and I just get out of shape slightly. It's so hard to get two cars round there in one piece. And then again, he was very, very committed there. Came straight across us and closed us off. And we both managed to get through unscathed. As you can see, he has a little moment coming out of that corner, and we jumped on that opportunity and took the place. Akchar has a huge moment, somehow manages to hold on to it. And I can say one thing, when you do lose control of these cars, trying to get them back under control is really, really, really hard. You know, you are pretty much in the mud. And you can see big contact here. And sends us off the track. We do sustain a little bit of damage to the rear quarter. But luckily, it wasn't race ending and we were able to carry on. The unfortunate thing is, you know, we did absolutely nothing wrong there, and it will affect the safety rating that we have in this race, even though we was actually set to do really, really well and gain some all-important safety ranking points. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to build the momentum back, try and close that gap to the car in front. With the damage, it will be difficult because we will have definitely received some kind of aero damage to the car, and it does affect the front line speed, straight line speed. Some other little quirks that I found that it can affect is, you know, your steering wheel can actually point more towards one direction when going in a straight line if you do have damage, and also if you lock your brakes up too much, you can actually feel the flat spots through the wheel by violent vibrations. As you go in, you know, at speed, you can feel the flat spots. But we've managed to close the gap in again, coming into the final part of the race now, trying to find any kind of mistake, any kind of opening that we can to make that important place back. We're currently sat in 6th. I think we started the race in 3rd, so we have lost some places, but in all honesty I wasn't that bothered because I'd had such a good race. Akchar loses it, he span. So that's us now in a comfortable 5th place. As we're going round the last couple of corners now, we're going to sit there in 5th place. And yeah, one hell of a tough race. A lot was learned. But credit where credit's due, we had some really close racing. And as the leader is now crossing the line to win the race. And yeah, that was our first 20-minute race of LMU. If you did like this video, please do leave us a like rating on the video, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe as well, as we have lots more LMU GT7 content coming up over the remainder of this week and moving into the weekend. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next one.